Hello, very good morning and welcome to Athavan newspaper highlights. Today, Tuesday, 22nd of March 2016. Newspaper highlights read by Edward Udayadas Devasagayam Pillai. Now let's see what are the newspapers in hand for the highlights of today. Daily Mirror, Daily News and Ceylon Today. Firstly, let's look at the headlines on the Daily Mirror. AG's opinion sought. Protest at Bribery Commission. Police seek AG's opinion. The inquiry against 27 individuals, including some current UPFA parliamentarians, over the contempt of court by staging a protest opposite the Bribery Commission, violating a court order in April last year, was postponed for June 27, seeking the Attorney General's opinion on the matter by the Colombo Chief Magistrate yesterday. The Cinnamon Garden Police told court that they seek Attorney General's opinion regarding this. Engage in social work. President. Prefect training centers to set up. The government yesterday requested school children to participate in community work in villages aimed at achieving development in addition to their studies. The request was made by President Maithripala Sirisena, who addressed a get-together of school prefects which was organized by the Prime Minister's Office and Ministry of Education last afternoon. Engage in community work and extracurricular activities as well other than your school work, he told the children gathered at the temple trees for the event. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said the government would launch a new program to set up school prefect development centers in every education zone where prefects would be given training in any area they prefer. He said a research would be carried out to determine the kind of training programs which the prefects wished. Leader of Opposition R. Sampanthan said the prime need was to ensure that institutions of the government such as the judiciary and parliament were respected by the younger generation. SLFPers seek post for Gota to unite the party. In a bid to unite the different factions of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, its senior members would urge President Maithripala Sirisena to solicit the support of former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa by offering him a key position, it is learned. Decided to advocate this idea as a patch-up between the President and former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, which look a distant possibility at the moment. Secondly, let's move to Daily News. Magistrate imposes travel ban on directors. Shalika Foundation linked to Bangladesh bank heist. Allegedly siphoned off $20 million via BCB hackers. Colombo Chief Magistrate Jihan Pilapitia yesterday issued an order directing the Controller of Immigration and Emigration to prevent the directors of a dubious NGO functioning under the name of Shalika Foundation from leaving the country after it transpired that the NGO had allegedly siphoned off $20 million through hackers from the Bangladesh Central Bank. UPFA rebels to move no faith motion against Champika. If proper action is not taken against Megapolis and Western Development Minister Patali Champika Ranawaka regarding the motor accident which occurred at Rajagiri recently, the joint opposition will move a no-confidence motion in Parliament against him, Parliamentarian Bandula Gunavarthana said. President pledges to delegate more powers to PCs. The present government, which is engaged in constitutional reforms, is resolute in its endeavour to further strengthen provincial councils by delegating more statutory powers while preserving the unitary state of the country, President Maithripala Sirisena said. He was addressing the 32nd Chief Ministers' Conference at Hikkatrans in Hikkaduwa, Galle yesterday. I am always ready to share my powers. I have practically proved it, both as the Health and Agriculture Minister. In previous regime, I delegated my powers to the respective provincial ministers in black and white. I gave them complete authority to supervise and control the provincial activities of those ministries. During the tenure of former President Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaradunga and Mahinda Rajapaksa, I proposed to revise the structure, functions and powers of provincial councils and restructure the system with more powers for that second tier of parliamentary rule. Regrettably, on both occasions, my attempts did not materialize, he said. Finally, let's move to Ceylon today. Bread prices jacked up with immediate effect. The price of a loaf of bread was increased by ₹4 with effect from midnight yesterday, the All Ceylon Bakery Association said. ACBA President K. Jayawardena told Ceylon today that the bread price was increased in response to the increase of the wheat flour price last week. According to Jayawardena, the price of a loaf of bread would be increased from ₹54 to ₹58. Lionel Gurge files fundamental rights petition on NMA, 7 others. All meds labels should be trilingual. Senior researcher at Center for Policy Alternate Lionel Gurge yesterday filed a fundamental rights application in the Supreme Court seeking a direction on National Medicine Authority (NMA) and 7 respondents to fix labels for medicine in Sinhala and Tamil languages. With that, let's come to an end of today's paper highlights. We will come with more news tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening to Athavan News Paper Highlights.